Since its reveal, I've completely ignored all Elden Ring content until tonight, where I've just consumed all the trailers they've released, and damn, I'm excited.
Hey J Review.
Welcome back, Classy Crew, and if you don't know who I am, I'm Hey Jay, you're the Classy Crew, and here's why I'm excited about Elden Ring and a little bit about me. So I avoided the Soulsborne genre for years because I dabbled in it and I hated it. And then last year I played Dark Souls 1 and I'm like, still not feeling it. Then I played Dark Souls 3, I was like, okay, this is going somewhere I like. And then I played a little bit of Sekiro and I'm like, okay, I like what's going on here. And now I'm doing a journey through Bloodborne. And so with all the hype around Elden Ring, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go and see what this game is all about, because everybody who's watching me play the old Soulsborne games are getting hyped and ready for Elden Ring. So I'm like, what's going on here? So all I know about this game is that I've heard it's an open world Dark Souls type game. Same creator, same developer, and it also has George R.R. Martin who's writing it, which is the author behind the Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire book series. So I'm like, okay, that sounds like a pretty good, solid thing, but I hadn't seen anything about it or really looked into what was so different. So let me just say the first thing which really sells me on this, and it's so dumb. Open world with light. It's so beautiful. One of the gripes I had specifically with Dark Souls 1 was it's so dark, and I know it's right in the name, but doesn't mean a game needs to be dark just because you call it dark game. Elden Ring has light, and it's an inviting world. It's not a world that's necessarily feels like it's falling apart and dying. It actually looks like a world I want to explore. I want to be in it. And I love open world games. So just the invitation to explore a new open world in a fantasy style, like I love fantasy things, and we're going to touch up on that too in a moment, is great. And I love that they took what I can tell is the darkness of the Dark Souls games and they put those in the dungeons of Elden Ring, so you're still getting that slow, spooky look, feeling that you would get in Dark Souls. It looks like they've contained that to the dungeon aspect, but they left the open world more broad, bright, explore as much as you want, and I love that part. Now the next part I love is the fact that it is back into the fantasy. When I say back, I'm looking at the whole Soulsborne evolution, all the games in the Soulsborne genre. We're back in fantasy land, and I'm really realizing, especially as I play Bloodborne, I really prefer this genre in the fantasy style. And this is before I even got into Soulsborne's. I've always been a big fan of medieval fantasy, just the design and the aesthetics, and playing games in that setting. I love it. Give me some armor, give me some knights, give me some weird stuff, and I'm all about that. And that's another thing I want to talk about. This game seems to be doing a lot of weird stuff. When you look at the bosses and the monsters, they are weird, freaky, ugly. And it's not necessarily horror, traumatic, scary. It's really just, oh, that's weird. That's some weird stuff. All I see is weird, and it's the weird that makes me want to go, I want to see more of that. What does it look like from this angle? What happens if you do this? What's it like fighting that? Are the questions I come up with when I look at it. So these are things that are already drawing me in. It's open world. You get a horse. You get to summon a horse. So I'm like, okay, I'm all about that. You get to fight on the horse, which I'm like, all right, that can be cool. Or knowing the Soulsborne genre, that can just be another thing to make me curse and say that's bullshit because I'm getting knocked off my horse all the time. I'm thinking it's going to be more the latter, that I as a player will not be good enough to see how the gameplay on a horse plays out, and I will probably die a lot on the horse because I can't imagine horse combat being good. Even on simple games like Zelda, I think it's Twilight Princess, where you get to fight on a horse a bit, I'm not too good at it, so I can't imagine I'll be that great at Elden Ring. So we got the summons, we got the story. So I looked at the story trailer, and I'll admit, I'm about as it's about as vague as all the other Soulsborne games, but I like that the goal of the game, at least what it tells me, seems to be pretty basic. You're a tarnished dude or woman. You're a tarnished character, which means basically you're not a lord, because there's a quote that says, oh, look at you tarnished one trying to be a lord. So I'm like, okay, I'm about that. I'm about being the underdog. I'll be the tarnished raisin. So you're tarnished and you're trying to get the Elden Ring. And you know what? That's seriously all I need for an objective and a goal in these games. It doesn't have to be crazy diluted, but it will be because we've got George R. R. Martin on here. So you can bet that there's going to be plot amongst plot amongst plot, and everybody's going to end up killing themselves. But the fact that I'm going into the game, I'm like, okay, I got to explore it. There's going to be cool things to fight. And at the end of the day, I'm a guy who doesn't deserve the Elden Ring, but I'm going to go get it for myself. That's all you need. It's like the motivation you need to play Mario. Oh yeah, princess is in a castle. All right, let's go. Elden Ring is somewhere out there. Let's go find it. That's all I need. Speaking of tarnished raisin, I actually noticed there's beautiful humans in this game. Not everybody's wrinkly or falling apart or skin melting off their face. You've got nice, beautiful, smooth fleshed individuals. Okay, like the one girl that I know has had that. She also had an eye missing with a weird tattoo on the eye, but it doesn't matter. The fact that we've got like such diversity and broad spectrum of not everything is dying, but we've got some nice, beautiful people, and the graphics look amazing, and the world looks epic. It's not just fantasy. It's not just open world, but it's an epic fantasy open world, and it looks beautiful. Everything was making me go, whoa. And also, as someone who's playing Bloodborne right now, the fact that I saw rolls again, like the actual rolling, not the fat rolls, I'm just like, oh my God, the iframes, bring back rolling. I got so excited. I loved the rolling aspect, specifically when I killed Nameless King in Dark Souls 3. The rolling made that so smooth. The fact that you're like, all right, where are you going to go? Okay, you're going to attack. I'm going to roll through that. I'm going to roll through that. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to roll through that. And then especially the final boss, like the bosses with the roll, I love rolling. And Bloodborne took that away from me, and they're like, screw rolling, just get in their face, hack off their parts, and just get messy. And I can appreciate what they're doing, but I've discovered I like rolling. I just love the rolling. I love that there's a map this time, which goes hand in hand with the open world aspect. I love that there's a talking pot. I think that there's a meme going around about this guy, Pot-san, everybody's calling him. I want to know more about this pot man. A pot with arms and legs. It looks amazing. Is this the most comical aspect of this game we're going to get, or are there going to be more funny comical characters? I want to know. I'm already sold. A pot with legs. That speaks better than I do. A pot with arms and legs that has better vocabulary and a better pronunciation than I do. Like, sign me up. I need a little Pot-san right here. The UI, I don't know if they were purposefully hiding it for the experience of the trailer. I'm a little bit concerned. I was like, is there any UI? I'm going to assume yes, so we're not going to talk about that too much. It looked like fall damage is no longer a thing, or it's very generous, because I did see the character fall from pretty high places that in Dark Souls would kill you. So if they have minimized fall damage in this context of an open world game, I'm all about that. I love that. I love the whole, the summoning spirits aspect. Love that. And it looks like spells are more integrated potentially. I saw a lot of like different spells, and in my Dark Souls, actually in all my playthroughs, I usually avoid spells. I'm all about the melee, and you get in there with some iron, cool cold iron. So if I can combine that with spells to some level in a comfortable way, because in Dark Souls, it feels like you really got to commit to a faith build or a dexterity build or a strength build. And when you start mixing, you kind of get the worst of both instead of getting the best of both. But here, if I can have a healthy amount of spells with my melee combat, and in the combat, they were going from spell to range, like shooting bows, to spears, which I think is dexterity, to using a sword, which is strength. If I can actually mix and match how I'm playing for the moment, that's game changer. Like, I know a lot of people in the Soulsborne community that I've spoken with, they do different build runs just to experience the game from different perspective. I don't necessarily have the patience to do that. It's just not my approach to replay games like that, just to see the different experience. I have an appetite to do that in Monster Hunter World to some extent, but not the Soulsborne games. But here, if I can dabble with everything and everything's viable and I can just switch it and try different types of combat mechanics for different scenarios, that is amazing. So everything I've seen in Elden Ring is giving me more of what I enjoyed of Dark Souls and other Soulsborne games. And I didn't really see any of the things that I'm like, oh, I don't like that. But to be fair, the things I don't enjoy as much in those games come down to the experience of playing. Like, you know, some questions remain, like, how easy is it going to be to die? How bullshitty are the moves? Where are the hitboxes like? Do I get to transport? How easy is it to heal? How easy is it to die? These are all questions that I won't really know until you get into the game. And so we'll just have to wait and see. But just from the marketing material, I can say it works. As someone who is new to Soulsborne games, as someone who is not in love with them but enjoys them to some extent, I am sold on this game. I want to and I will play it. I'm not sure if I will play it at launch, simply because as a content creator, my approach is to experience the game after everybody else has experienced it. So it does me no, as a content creator, it does me no service to play things at launch. Which is fine because I have a ton of other games to play. But yeah, I'm down. I don't even need to see more trailers. I'm literally sold on what I've seen. And playing this on PC, it's going to be so beautiful. It looks like it's going to be super fun. And it looks like this is a game that is okay making you feel like a badass. Or they're just showing how you have to play to feel like a badass. But either way, I'm about it. I'm like, I want to be as good as the character in the trailer. I want to play that well. And I'm ready for this. I think I'm going to love Elden Ring more than the Soulsborne games I've played so far. It really looks like it's a step forward more into the mainstream genre while keeping that Soulsborne core, which makes it so unique. So really looking forward to Elden Ring. Let me know if you're all about it. If there's anything that you're like, nope, don't like, or yes, love it, leave that in comment. I read all the comments, and I will see you in the next video. As I do a follow-up, as I keep following what Elden Ring's doing, what they're talking about, and when I'm gonna start dabbling in it. So I'll see you in the next video or the next stream, and until next time, keep it classy. Subscribe.